Hello and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to solve Caesar cipher from network security. So first of all, I have a boilerplate code here because as we know, Java is a verbose language and we have to type all those print statements and input statements. So I'm just using java.io package. You can use scanner. It won't change anything. And I'm using string builder because string builder is mutable and string is immutable. So it will just give a better performance and nothing too much complicated. I have a buffer reader to take input. We have an integer key and we have a text which we want to encrypt. And now, so let's implement our methods. First one is encipher method, which is going to return a string builder. E-text is encrypted text, so it will take text and key. And now let's private method, private static uh, and private static string builder, and we will name it encipher. Okay, so it will take string text and it will take integer key. First of all, we will just create a string builder e-text, which is going to be our encipher text is equals to new string builder. And now we will have a for loop for character element in our text dot to char array. We will have a if condition to check if a character is alphabetic, and we will just use a not. So if a character is not alphabetic, like we could have spaces, or maybe we could have some other string like spaces or tabs or maybe new line characters. So if we have those characters, we will just simply append them into our e-text, append element. But if we have a character alphabetic character, so now we have to apply our Caesar cipher. In Caesar cipher, we can replace our current character by a next character, or maybe a third character after our current character, like we can replace a by b, and so on and so forth. And that's what we are going to do, but the only difference is we are taking a key. So we can also specify the length of our replacement. Like for example, we can replace, if we pass 1 as our key, or a will be replaced by b, and if you pass 2 as our key, or a will be replaced by c. And now we will check if our element or our character is uppercase. Okay, and if it's uppercase character, we will have an integer of current character, which is going to be our integer of our element. So when we do integer of a element of a character element, it returns its ASCII value. So because it's a uppercase character, it will return values from 65 to 90, and we will just add our key into it. And now we will check if our current C is greater than 90, because it is possible that we might have XYZ, and let's assume our character is Z and our current key is 3. So when we add our current key to our character, it exceeds 90. So it's going to print some random characters other than XYZ. Or we want to, if we go beyond that, uh, let's say for example we have Z and our length of a key is 3, so we want to print C, we want to replace Z by C. So that's why we have to use a little trick here. We can't directly just add here for any other characters except for I mean, if a length of a key is 3, so for other than XYZ, everything else will work perfectly fine for our text. But if our length of key is 3, so, or it might be anything, if it exceeds, if our currency exceeds 90, which is definitely not a uppercase character, so what we can do is we have to recalculate our currency, which will be equal to 64 plus our currency minus 90. So because it exceeds 90, we will know exactly how many numbers we have to add to currency so that we get our perfect ASCII value. For example, if our current C is 91, that means we want to get A, and SK value for A is 65. So if it's 91, we will get 91 minus 91, and when 1 is added to 64, we get 65, which is SK value for A, and it will work perfectly fine. Now we can just append etext dot append care of our current C. So it solves a problem. It solves a problem for uppercase. Now we have to do the same thing for lowercase, but since our limits are different for lowercase, so what we can do is, first of all we have to do the same thing. We have to just add a key to our current character, and now we have to check if our current C has exceeded the value of 122, because 122 is the value for lowercase z, and if it has exceeded, we can do a same thing. Current C is equals to 96 plus current C minus 122. So it will work same as it did for uppercase characters, and now we can just simply return or etext. So it will return the encrypted text, and now we have to complete our decipher method. So that would be a private method, private static method, and it would be called decipher, and oh sorry, type string builder. Again we will use a string builder because it's mutable, and decipher, it will take an encrypted string etext. That's why I'm going to call it etext. It is going to take a key, integer key. We have to do something very similar here as well. We have string builder. Now I will call it text because we are deciphering our text, so it would be called new string builder. And now we will have a for loop again. So our character element would be text etext. It would be etext dot to char array, and we'll have a same check condition here. So we can just copy this from here to here. If our current character is not a alphabetic character, so we can just append it because we do not have to encrypt it. And now else, if it's a alphabetic character, then we have to decrypt it because it was encrypted. So we will just check if a character is uppercase, so we can copy it here. So if a character is uppercase, as we know, ASCII values for uppercase and lowercase differ. So we can do one thing. We can just calculate current C here, which would be equal to our integer of our element minus key. So now we will just check if our character is uppercase. So we will just check if our current C, so we will just check if our current C is less than 65, because if it's something like 60A, so its ASCII value will be 65, and when we subtract our key, for example, let us say our key is 3, so our value will fall down to 62, and it is not an English alphabet. So that's why we have to add this check condition here, integer of element minus 64 minus current C. If our current C is less than 65, which means we have to go back to X, Y and Z. For example, our our current character is A, so we have to, and let's assume our key is 3, so its decryption would result into X, so we have to go back, but we can't go to 62 because it will just result into some random character. I don't really know what its value is. So what we can do here is, we will do something similar to what we did in our encryption method. So we will just use here 90 minus, so we can just do 64 minus current C, and it will give a proper ASCII value. And if or else if else if a character is lowercase, so what we can do is, we will just check if our current C is less than 97. which is the ASCII value for small a. So if it goes below 97, we have to do something similar here as well. So here we will add 122 minus or 90 minus current C, and now we can just append text dot append character value of our current C, and now we can come out of our for loop and just return text. Okay, so as we can see here, we have a proper output because and let's try to actually uh, give some random. Okay, so let's give 3 as our integer key. Let's try to give some random sentence like this is some test. Okay, so as we can see here, it's encrypted and decrypted properly, and there were some errors. So those errors were spelling mistakes. So here in our encipher method we have to use etext everywhere except for here. So etext for our encryption, wherever we want to add our encrypted text we have to use etext. So that's one thing, and I forgot to add etext here. So that was one error, that was one mistake. And here we have to add text and we have to return text variable. So there was some naming errors. So as you can see here, now all the errors are sorted and we have the proper output. So thank you for watching my video, and if I have helped you in any way, please do subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. So we will meet in my next video.